Alright lads, quick little video about the first dev server opening. Got several vehicles, not a massive update, just a few cool little additions in my opinion. So starting with the T54E2, this is another battle rating 7.7 premium. My dog is currently having a drink of water, sorry if you can hear that. It's going to be coming at a lower battle rating than the T54E1, the auto-loading brother I guess, or cousin. Nice solid shot AP DS round, 4.5 kilos, do a lot of damage. We also have the M109A1, this is the long barreled version, which is a hint that there is a short barrel one that we'll look at next in the German tech tree. The M107 round, it's pretty decent, not as fantastic as like a Vidar or something. We also have a proximity fuse warhead as well for dealing with planes, actually has more penetration. So it will be effective against lightly armoured vehicles and open top tank destroyers, that sort of thing. We then have, in my opinion, the Aardvark, which is probably the biggest, I don't know why people are so hyped about this thing, to be honest. It's coming in at battle rating 10.3, and you read that right, AIM-9Bs. So have fun stock grinding this thing with AIM-9Bs. You've got like top tier performance from the engines and flight characteristics, but absolutely no performance from the weapons. So we can take an absolute shitload of different ordnance and stuff like that. But why would you ever play this thing when you've got the Bombcat as well as the F-16C? Even stuff like the A-10 is going to be a better cast jet at this battle rating. It's got much better weapons like the AGM-65Ds. I really don't understand why people are so hyped about this plane. It's going to get absolutely clubbed. Best loadout maybe is going to be this for air-to-ground missiles. But then you've still only got two AIM-9Bs. Worth pointing out as well that you can carry additional weapons on the outer pylons like we just saw here. But if you do this, you cannot, the wings will not sweep backwards. Kind of like the Tornado where the two pylons sweep with the wings. Basically, these are just add-on pylons, so if you take out a loadout like this, you will not be able to sweep the wings back. Moving on to the Germans, we have the M109G, the stubby version. Going to have the same round, the M107, but it's going to be a lower muzzle velocity. We then also have a MiG-29G coming to the German tech tree. This is essentially, it's a kind of equivalent to the F-16, to the MiG-29 that came in the Soviet tech tree last patch. We get the R-27s as well as the ER ones. These have a different name, but they are just export versions. They perform exactly the same. The only difference between the German MiG and the Soviet one is we do not get the air-to-ground weapons that we do with the Soviet one. So it's not going to affect realistic plays, but if you're a cast player, I guess, for German top tier, then you're not going to be able to use this thing. But the Tornado is probably still better in my opinion. We then get the Pancake Tank, the Object 775. Worth pointing out as well that this thing is insanely protected from the front. Just bear in mind though that because this tank is so small, you are going to be shooting down at it, which will make its armor profile a little less effective. I think it's going to be quite hard for Gaijin to balance this. It's not got the best gun depression, only 5 degrees, and because the tank is so long, you aren't really going to be able to go hold down or peek over cover effectively. The other issue is its ammunition. We have a high explosive missile, that makes sense, but it's not a guided missile, it's just like a rocket, not really that effective. Then also have the Rubin anti-tank guided missile, a bit more effective because you can actually guide this thing. It's SAKO guided, and it has 500mm of penetration, so not bad at all, to be honest. Problem is though, it's just going to be quite hard to use in my opinion. Battle rating 9.3, it's not really got a lineup. 8.7 and 9.0 is really the sweet spot for the Soviets now. 9.3 just going to get dragged up to the 10.3 premium meta, where this thing probably is going to get bullied a little bit, but we'll see. We also get a new low tier SPAA. We have the fantastic KPVT 14.5mm machine guns. We already have a similar vehicle in the Soviet tech tree, but it only has 2. If I can find it here. I can't find it. Where have I gone? This, no, not that thing. This thing, the BTR 152. This thing's already pretty decent. That's at 2.7. We get 2 more guns and a full battle rating increase. I think it'll be a good little addition. It fills a gap. It's 3.7. I guess it's the same as the ZSU-37, but this thing's quite painful to use. It's got a very low fire rate. That's it for the Soviets. Let's cover the British. We also get the long-barreled M109. Not really that fantastic. I don't really see the point in these, especially like the lower tier ones. And we already have the G6, which may be better, to be honest. Then I have the Vickers Mark 11, another monstrosity of a vehicle. I do apologise to all viewers. The British just decided to make some of the most horrific vehicles ever in the 1980s. I think it uses the same turret as the VF M5. We get the C76A1 as well, which is pretty weak. It probably isn't going to be too bad at 8.7. It's going to fit in well with the Chieftain lineups now. Chieftains have got buffed recently somehow. They seem to be doing very, very well in game. They've got decent guns. They're still slow as a, well, average Americans probably. Well, actually saying that, I tried to make a fat American joke, but it came out wrong. Anyway, moving on. We have a new premium for the British, the Iron Duke. This is the 1928 version. This ship is basically a direct copy of the HMS Marlborough. However, this is the 1927 version, so technically it should be slightly more modernized, I guess, if that's the right word. Probably not in terms of actual performance, but these ships were scrapped at the Washington Naval Treaty, I believe. All the British main line forces were using 15-inch guns that we see on like ships such as the Renown and Hood. So the 13.5-inch guns that were on this ship, there was no point keeping it really. There's no point having smaller guns. But yeah, if you've already got the HMS Marlborough and you like the performance of it, then the Iron Duke is literally a direct copy and paste. It's the same ship class. The Iron Duke was the class leader and the Marlborough was the second ship, I believe, or that sort of stuff. Very good guns though on the Marlborough. Going to be a great British premium. Another great idea, but something I don't really think is going to be that great in game, is the Tan Sam. This is a Japanese air defense vehicle, as you can probably guess. We have the P400-1 missile. Has 35 Gs of maximum overload. It's basically just a IR SAM system. As you can see, it didn't quite hit there. It's obviously no ADAT or Panzer. It's not going to do that great, to be honest. Obviously, against enemies at medium distance, it'll be alright, but against helicopters sitting really, really far away, like over the very, very slow missiles, really, they're not really going to be, it's not going to solve the issue at Japanese top tier, in my opinion, which is a complete lack of long range CAS. To be honest though, if you want to knock out enemy helicopters or planes and you're playing the Japanese, you're probably just better using the AJ. Probably more, well, it's a lot more expensive than taking out a good CAS vehicle, but I don't think the Japanese in real life have a mobile SAM system. We then have our second premium battleship, the Yamashiro. Again, this is a direct copy of the Fuso class. However, the Fuso we have in game is the 1945 variant, I believe, whereas the Yamashiro is the 1920 variant. So we do still get the casemate guns on the Yamashiro, but we don't get any of that juicy 1940s air defense. Not a major issue in my opinion. There doesn't seem to be that many bombers or torpedo bombers in top tier naval RB anymore. Used to be quite bad with lots of like HE118s or whatever they're called and JU288s. But the lack of air defense on this battleship isn't going to be a major, it's not going to be a major drawback of the ship. We still get the fantastic semi-armor piercing and AP rounds. Very, very nice premium. Probably won't be buying it myself because I already have pretty much every battleship. These things do also get 1200 Silver Lion modifiers, so they are incredibly good for making money, I guess. For the Chinese, we only have one vehicle so far. This is the PLZ-83. It is a howitzer, as you can see. Type 37, not very good at all really. Only 46mm of penetration, worse than the M109. Pretty bland, to be honest. For the Italians, we have the Leopard 4070. This is a 40mm Bofors. I assume it's the 70 caliber gun, not the 60, because hence the name, but I could be wrong on that. Don't think it tells you in the thing. No. This is a pretty strange vehicle. We have the Leopard 1 chassis, obviously, which gives us very good mobility. The 40mm Bofors with our top round gives us 93mm of penetration. It's just a strange vehicle, isn't it? You're going to get absolutely decimated in battle because the majority of your crew are exposed completely. Then I have another stubby M109. We've already covered this twice now, not particularly amazing. Italians are also getting a new top tier helicopter. This is the AH129D. We get some new features. I think that, no, that's just the old one. That thing only gives you a 20mm gun actually. So it gets a 20mm cannon. Nothing that fancy, but if we take a look in the secondary weapons section, we have the Spike ERs. These are the fire and forget, infrared. There is Israeli missiles actually. Same thing as the PARs, I believe, on the Eurocopter actually. Pretty decent helicopter. Nothing that's going to be groundbreaking. We've already seen this on we've got it on the Eurocopter. We've seen it on stuff like the Lynx and the Freccia. It's probably going to be a lot more effective in its helicopter role just because you're obviously higher up and you're looking down at enemies rather than being on the ground. The missiles themselves are quite slow though. It's not like a Hellfire or a Vikir, which have a very fast time to close to the enemy. Enemies will be able to get into cover quite easily with these things. So while it may sound a bit overpowered having a fire and forget helicopter missile, in most situations you are going to be better with like a Russian Vikir or a Taka even, because he's just so much faster. You can get those kills a lot easier. Another helicopter that's coming to the game is the Tiger HAD. Now this isn't in the dev server just yet. This is obviously the one we already have in game. We are getting the HAD Block 2, which will get the same Spike ERs that we just looked at on the Italian helicopter. New French IFV kind of looks like a Warrior, at least the chassis does. This is an unstabilized 20mm cannon. Not got the best grounds in the world, to be honest. 57mm of pen. Battle rating 5.3 though. It's not the I mean, it's a French vehicle. Why would you want to play it? It's not really got any character. Another vehicle that I wouldn't recommend playing is the M26. This is just French now for some reason. Coming after the M4A4 at 6.7. It's a pretty average lineup at 6.7 for the French. I don't think the M26 is going to make it better though, to be honest. It's got a mediocre reload time and a pretty underwhelming gun. For the Swedish, we only have one vehicle. This is the PBV501. I'm pretty sure you guys know it by another name, the BMP. This thing does get the autoloader, I believe, for the gun, giving us a reload of 6 seconds. But as you can probably guess, we do not have the ATGM launcher on top, which does take quite a lot of the punch away from the BMP. But this is 7.0, whereas the BMP-1 in the Soviet territory and the German territory is 7.7. So we've got a significant drop in battle rating, but a significant loss of capability as well. And finally for the video, we have another M109. Pretty boring, to be honest. Coming in the Israeli territory just after the TCM-20. So that's it, boys. Pretty small update. Pretty underwhelming in my opinion. I'm looking forward to the premium battleships. I don't really think the Aardvark is going to make a splash. It's going to be like the A10. Everyone was really hyped for it. And then it came to game, and as anyone who knows about the A10 in real life, it certainly can't fight against a peer opponent. I don't think this is going to be that good. At least the A model. We have like Vietnam era weapons for it. Fighting at 10.3. So yeah. Just finally, the tram is going to be a lot better ground air support vehicle than this thing. The A7D is a lot better ground support vehicle because we get the guided GBU-8s as well as the A Mavericks. Probably the F5C is going to be a better air-to-ground platform as well. We can carry the same loadout, actually a better loadout. Get 4 air-to-ground bullpups as well as AIM-9Es, not AIM-9Bs. So why would you... I don't understand why you'd want to play the Aardvark. Again, it's just hype, it's not going to be good in game, so don't get your hopes up too much, lads. Anyway boys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.